Aren't they like human traffickers?
Being like Asian's kind of trendy.
I'm working on disagreeing.
Pokemon!
No, it's totally okay. Is that a security camera?
I don't know. This is not my house. Where?
But why is there a security, in the background?
Yeah, there is. That's crazy.
What the hell? What? That's concerning.
Alright, let me start. What the fuck is up, jelly beans?
Hello.
Welcome to another episode of Jelly. Elias, you're looking a little different today.
Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I got sick and everything changed.
Everybody welcome my dear friend Mattie. Thank you for
Hello.
coming and taking Elias's place because he is stuck in prison right now, you know? He can't make it. And honestly, for the best. I think this is a sign that we are replacing my co-host and just restarting. We're gonna rebrand to Jaddy.
Jaddy, yeah, I love it.
Jaddy.
I miss
yeah.
Elias. I hope in a future episode we can all be on.
No, please come back.
I will.
We have to have you come back for
Yes,
another
yes.
episode. But how does it feel to be part of the Jellyverse officially?
Feels awesome. I'm so excited. I listen to your podcast when I am in the car, and then I subject everyone who's in the car with me to listening to it.
It's honestly so bad. It's so bad. I release the beast, and then I have no idea what I have been recording.
No, I love it though. It's fantastic. So I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
You know, when you first met Elias, you said that I was the meanest version of myself.
Oh, absolutely.
With Elias.
I was very scared because I thought you were a very scary person to begin with, and then I got to know you a little better, and I was like, oh, he's not that scary. And then Elias came, and then you were so mean. I was like, maybe this is the real Jimmy.
No, I feel like I just switch my personalities with people.
Yeah.
And with Elias, he just pisses me off all the time. And I am just my worst version. I think I've Stockholm syndromed myself into thinking that I want to keep making podcasts with Elias. And so that's how Jelly was born.
No,
so.
I love it. The viewers love it. It's so funny. Your little interactions with each other are great.
Do you switch personalities with different people?
I don't think that I really do. I think I'm generally pretty much the same. It maybe depends on my energy level, but I don't really switch up that much. Unless it's with my family. With my family,
Oh, yeah.
I definitely notice my accent changing and me
Your
changing
accent?
my vocabulary. Yeah, for some reason when I talk to older Asian people, my accent becomes more Asian.
Oh, interesting.
You know, or slow, as if I was not a firstborn English speaker.
I'm so dead. So you're my name is Mattie, yeah.
Hello.
Also, this is going to be kind of janky because we're literally FaceTiming and it might cut back and forth.
Oh yeah,
So-
bear with us. It'll still be good.
You're traveling right now, right?
Yeah, I am traveling right now. I'm visiting some college friends in Northern California. I'm from LA, so I just flew up here really quick, and I'm gonna be here for the weekend and a little bit of the beginning of next week.
Yeah, she is on the West Coast and unfortunately I'm on the East Coast. Why do we have to be so far?
I know. One day we will move. Jimmy was showing me the benefits of moving in with all your friends, and that's all I can think about now. And family and everybody.
Literally, there was an article that was we're not meant to live so far away from our friends and loved ones, and that's not how our minds are built. And I'm that is my sign to really just move where my friends are.
Yeah. I was thinking it would be so cool to know someone who has a hotel. I don't know why anyone would have a hotel, but then just imagine an entire hotel of just people, or it feels like a dorm at that point, but
Oh my gosh, when I was little and I was watching Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, I wanted to live in a hotel so bad.
Yeah.
And then when they moved to a ship, I was like,
Yeah.
I want to live
Yeah.
on a boat for the
Yeah.
rest of my life.
Right. No, it's,
Like, that sounds so fun.
and it's such like, I don't know, I am so guilty of wanting that too. There's this one YouTuber who like moved onto a sailboat for like, I don't know if it was 2 weeks or a month, and then she was like filming it. I was like, that looks like such a dream life. She was like taking classes on the boat a little bit and just
Oh my
hanging out
gosh.
with like all the people there, and they were like moving across the sea. I don't know where, but it looked amazing.
Would you be a pirate? Because I feel like that could be a fun life.
No, I don't think I could be a pirate.
No, but that's basically hanging out on a boat all the time.
I guess so. What kind of pirate would you be though?
Are there different kinds of pirates?
Aren't there? Doesn't it? Don't pirates like go like steal stuff? Like, would you be a specific type of collector?
I would probably be the ones that steal food because I am a big foodie. Yeah, I would be the one supplying food for our crew.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, I would go to the Golden Corral, get all the buffet, and then, bring it back. Are there still modern day pirates?
Yeah, there definitely are, right?
Really?
Yeah, there has to
How?
be. Aren't they like human traffickers? Sorry.
I mean, you're kind of right.
Isn't that like a type of pirate? I thought.
That you're probably right. I'm probably just like romanticizing the idea of pirates a little too much, and in actuality, they're very awful people.
Yeah, they are bad people. They like go like harm others. Anyways.
Correct. I can't imagine them in 2023 being like, "Arr, me and my iPhone 15."
That's so true. Also,
Like, I can't
what
imagine that.
accent is that? Where are they from?
That's a really good question. Like, why is the stereotypical like pirate thing like, "Arr, scurvy, mate"? Like,
Yeah.
maybe it's like a British accent that's like morphed into something else.
I can't even think of an accent that sounds like that. So I have no idea.
Cause you know the transatlantic accent where like early on in America people sounded like that, and it's like sort of British, sort of American.
Yeah, that's true.
So maybe pirates did the same thing, but like the ocean version of that.
That's probably correct.
But speaking of which, iPhone 15 just dropped. And did you see anything about it?
No, I did not. Please catch me up.
Literally not a lot has changed. Like the biggest change was like, "Oh, our phones are made out of titanium grade metal, and it's the same material that they use to send spacecrafts to Mars with."
Were they not already made with titanium metal? Also, isn't that like really bad for the environment to be making all the iPhones out of that? Seems like a precious, important metal. We don't need that in
Right.
our phones, do we?
We really don't.
No, it's because when you're like young, you can go up to your friend and be like, "Does your phone have the new space?" metal in it?"
Exactly. Are you a big like Apple stan? Like, do you have to get the new Apple everything?
The last time I upgraded my iPhone is because I lost my phone. I chronically lost my phone and had to get a new one. So that was the
Oh,
last time
no
I got
way.
it. But I did. Yeah, I left it. I was flying from school, which was in Atlanta, so Atlanta to LA, and I left my phone in Atlanta.
Oh my god,
so I-
how do you do this?
I don't know, but I had to get a new phone.
That's honestly incredible.
Yes.
And I very much see that for you. I know people that are like big Apple stans. Like it's like their MCU of
Yeah.
real life. Like
Oh yeah.
they will switch their phones every year for the new one.
And they've got all the ecosystem. They've got the biggest iPad you've ever seen. Their magic mouse. What is it called?
Their Magic Mouse?
Isn't that what? Oh, keyboard. Magic keyboard.
Oh, Magic Mouse sounds like a vibrator brand.
Yeah, it could be. I love that. If it's not, we should start it.
Yeah, no. When we were in college, we had this, or okay, it was mainly me, but I was like, wouldn't it be a great idea if we started like a TikTok version of porn?
Yeah. And
Like, I feel like that would get a lot of traction, right?
yeah, and I feel like that has to be a thing by now. From the time we talked about it to now. I haven't checked. I haven't
You think, should I look this up? Like, it's
Yeah.
gonna be kind of sus on my computer.
You can share with the audience too.
Okay, I'm gonna go on private mode and I'm gonna search up TikTok for porn.
Yeah. Or like maybe it's just a feature on some like major porn site.
Oh, interesting. There's something called FicFap.
Ah.
That's actually a great name. I could not have thought about that.
Yeah, that's really good.
Yeah, so if y'all are interested, go check out FicFap.
Woo!
Only if you're 18 plus, though. We're not supporting underage porn usage.
You're so right. You don't need it.
No. But Mattie, what have you been doing recently in your life after college? Because it's already been like 4 months since
I know
we've graduated.
It has been about 4 months. I
Yeah.
was working and I was planning on working a project manager job. And then
Right.
I quit because I didn't get paid. So then after that, I took
Right.
a break from like everything. So now I'm just doing nothing. I've been like trying to learn from the slow life and learn from all of that. So that's it. And it's been super chill.
Because your boss was like so sus. Like he kept on saying that he would pay you and then he like didn't.
Yeah, he would tell me I would be like, "Oh, like can you pay me yet?" And he's like, "No, I'll pay you tomorrow." And I was like, I mean, I love him. I think it could have just been like either miscommunication or like things going on in his life, but either way, it was just not the right opportunity. And I've been trying to listen for signs from the universe and my body and spirit
Absolutely.
and all of that. And so I was like, maybe this is a big sign and I should just go. And I've learned a
No,
lot.
definitely.
Learned a lot. Yeah.
I mean, on this podcast, me and Elias are very much into the woo-woo stuff, so I very much support listening to the energies in the universe and just, like, really finding your own path and not just, like, going along with what you think is the script.
Yeah, that's true. What do you think do you think it's easy for you to listen to those signs?
I've been trying to get better at that ever since, I think my junior year of college after I went to therapy. I was like very much trying to be more in tune with the environment because I realized that the like environment and nature like really helps with my mental health. So speaking of, listening to the universe and going along with the flow, has it kind of led you into a content creation type of era?
It has. And I think both of us are in a content creation era.
Definitely.
I've been making random videos that I've really been enjoying. And I think right now, like, it has been the biggest tool for me to understand myself while actually, like, doing something. Like, I totally get why people make videos now, and I'm having so much fun doing it. How are you feeling about it?
No, I love your videos. I really think you're like, I see you being an influencer.
I will. I'll be that. One day I'll be that, like, oh, here's like your 5 a.m. routine, and I'm gonna sell you all of these like supplements to like fix your life, and we're just gonna like live. That's gonna be my brand.
Right. Everyone go check out her YouTube. Is it just Mattie Kim?
Oh, thank you. No, it's actually Live with Mattie. I'm sure Jimmy can link it in the description below.
Not like Jelly can do any kind of promo. Like,
No.
Your YouTube will probably have to promo Jelly.
But you guys get a lot of visibility, and I'm like just having a good time being a part of it. I think one thing that I've heard from content creators, because, well, first of all, Jimmy, or like we've been talking about like how the YouTubers we look up to like started at our age, like after college.
Yeah.
And I've been finding
Right.
that so incredibly true. Like everyone I've looked up, like now they're like 30, and I'm going back looking at their videos 9 years ago and being
Yeah.
like, oh, and they all know each other. So like this is the start to
Exactly.
the next thing.
No, but that is such a good point because think of like the Jenna Marbles, think of the Smoshes, think of the Dan and Phils. They were all like early 20s, like right out of college, and they started their content creation. And the demographic was Gen Z. And now that Gen Z is growing up, we're restarting the cycle kind of.
Yeah.
And like, I guess we're kind of creating our own space, and it's very, very evident with like creators on TikTok. Like, that is our platform right now, and I think Gen Z is starting to make waves in like entertainment and like being influencers overall.
I have a question for you. Do you think that content, I know the platforms are changing and stuff like that, but do you think like topics and messages overall are also changing? I'm so curious because I was thinking about like, oh, what is this new audience that's growing up with like new YouTube, new TikTok, new everything?
I think something I have noticed about like Gen Z creators is a lot of us are doing less like character stuff, because I feel like original YouTubers and stuff, a lot of them kind of did characters. Like, you know, Smosh was all skits. Colleen Ballinger, who we don't talk about, you know, she was a character. And so a lot of them did like sketches and characters and skits, and also animation was like a big part, and like doing storytelling and stuff.
Yeah.
And now I think the sphere is very much like more grounded. It's not really about like dramatized storytelling. It's more like intimate and like being yourself and really just like trying to be relatable, you know.
That's so true. I feel like the trying to be relatable part is so interesting because I feel like sometimes when you try to be relatable, you end up being like less of yourself, which is like really ironic in a way.
Okay, there was a TikTok that James Charles just recently posted, and people are clowning him, and it's so funny that he gets clowned for every video.
Yeah.
But basically, he was like, if I see one more video of someone being like, it's a new dawn, like he started singing, and then all the stitches were like, James, like, we know you just wanted to sing, like, please just sing instead trying to like make it an excuse. And so I think there's kind of a like, it probably is just James Charles's personality, but I think there's a very like dislike for people trying to like put on for the camera now.
That's so true. Do you feel like when you turn on the camera, you become a different person? Is this a new person?
So that's a great question. I had that in my notes as well. I feel like for any kind of content creation, you want to bring like good energy, right? Like you don't want to go into it with like a dark cloud over your head. Like especially with podcasting, when I'm like hosting with Elias, like I don't think anyone wants to see like videos of us just being like, I'm tired.
Yeah.
I want to go to sleep.
That's so true. And that's relatable though. See how ironic that is?
That is true. That is true. So maybe I should come in and be depressed as fuck. And
No. But I totally get that. I was recording the other day and I decided to challenge myself and do 3 videos because I'd scripted 3 videos, which is a new thing I'm trying to learn. And by the 3rd video, when I watched it back, I was like, that's not even usable. Like you can tell I got tired. I'm not even joking.
That's so funny. But I love that you actually make scripts, because for me, like content creation, I hate making scripts.
No, I
like,
hate it too.
Yeah, like I like to do just like casual like talking and improv, but I do realize that it helps with a lot of kinds of videos.
Yeah.
And like honestly, I should just hire a scriptwriter with my $3 in my wallet.
I was gonna say, I would love to have a team of people. I have no money. No one's gonna get anything.
Do you ever get like camera shy?
Not really. I do. There are times when I feel...
Can't relate to that.
Tell your story. I want to hear.
No, you finish.
No. I was just gonna say, like, I do feel awkward sometimes, but I can usually be like, okay, I feel awkward. It's gonna be okay. Like, let's just continue.
Yeah. You're too nice, because me and Elias will literally just keep interrupting each other on this podcast unapologetically.
No, I love that dynamic though. What do you do when you're camera shy?
So I think being camera shy, I think I didn't realize how much of a learned skill it is. I thought people were just like naturally like good at being camera, and I think some people are just like really like good at being in front of a camera. But to me, it's almost like someone is watching me, even though I know it's just a machine, you know? But
as like a really quick interjection, did you say this is episode 11?
yeah.
Didn't you say that you and Elias would only make it to 10 episodes?
No, okay, so I said, Elias, what episode do you think how long it's gonna take for us to go on a hiatus, and he said 10, and I guess that's true for him. But for me, I'm trying to be committed,
You know, he held his end of the deal.
and that's as much as he can commit to, like, to anything. But let me not drag him when he's not here to defend himself. I was just gonna say, have you like learned like anything from like making content overall? Like for me, I feel like I've gotten better at like hosting like podcasts and just having conversations with people.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like I can't tell what I'm getting better at all. Another weird thing about being on camera when I like rewatch my videos, because I'm doing a lot of kind of more lifestyle content, so I'll record myself doing things, and a lot of the times I watch it back and I'm like, I didn't even know I did that. Like, I didn't know I stood like that. I didn't know I walked like that. I didn't know I wore my clothes this way. Another thing that I had to get better at is not blinking so much. When I recorded my first like 3 videos, I was like blinking like this. And I was like, what am I doing? And then I was like, don't blink. And then my eyes were just open. I was like, that's so scary.
You took Blink 182 to a different level.
I did. It's so funny. I hope I keep those clips because they're actually terrifying. I don't know if I'm necessarily getting better at any sort of content yet. I recorded a video the other day and I showed you this, and I had like my little fingers like
Oh,
in
that's
my
right.
sweater up here, and I was like, ooh, 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 because I was like tired and it was at night, and I was like, what am I doing?
No, but that's such a vibe. It's such a little like it's such a feminine energy, you know,
It
to do
is,
like
yeah,
the
I
little
love
Ariana sweater hands.
You're right. I love Ariana.
You know, I miss her Asian era. Like, that was giving me so much life. Like, it was so funny. And people were calling her Arigato Grande.
I remember that. I remember the memes from that era.
I feel like at a certain point, and I think now, being like Asian's kind of trendy.
Yeah, it is it's so, I feel like it's been trendy to be Asian for a hot minute now. Like, we're getting into like, I feel like it's normal now. Like, before I was kind of surprised, but now I'm kind of like, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I think, especially in the last like 5 years, I think Asian culture, Asian music, especially K-pop, oh my lord, like fashion, hairstyles, like all the Asian boys are getting perms now.
Yeah.
Like boba is like a personality trait now.
Absolutely.
Like there's a lot of foods that are getting trendy too. Have you noticed any that are like more popular now?
I think everything Asian's more popular now. Like, I used to go to restaurants and be like, there's no other people besides Asians, and now it's like, where did the Asians go? I don't know. There's no more. It's just
Completely.
all other people. Yeah, which is awesome, but it's also weird.
There's this hot pot place near my house, and every time we go, it's usually 80% white people in there, and it's real hot pot. Like, it's not like fake white colonized version of hot pot, but I'm like, damn, like they really have discovered hot pot.
That's amazing though, because hot pot is flavorful.
But I'm like, maybe we should gatekeep something so we don't have to have all of these people come in.
Absolutely. That's so funny. I feel like the distinction in my brain is like before, and I think you and I have talked about this and experienced it, is like it was very like dweeby to be Asian. I think that came straight out of like Japan, and then like right around our middle school.
Oh, being like a weeb?
Yeah, being like a weeb, but like because Japan
Yeah.
is such a powerhouse in like technology
Completely.
and comics and like entertainment in its own way.
Yes.
But then Korea took it after that.
Yes,
It was like,
yeah.
here we go with like cool.
Exactly. Like back in middle school, like I was very, very much into anime and like weeb culture, but that was like looked down upon. It was like
Yeah, it was
nerd
not
culture.
cool. It was not cool.
Exactly. And so I feel like you and I had similar experiences where we were both into anime a lot.
Yeah.
And I kind of drifted away from it because I was trying not to get harassed. And now it's like cool to be into anime. And I'm like, damn, like we really opened the doors for y'all
Yeah.
to be into it.
You had to cry in the corner every day so that these people could slay.
Exactly. Kids nowadays don't know how good they got it.
No, they don't. Do you feel like you were caught off guard then? Because I feel like as a Korean person, I was like a lot less caught off guard. But I'm curious from like your perspective.
Oh, with the like K-pop and
Yeah, because you're not super
Korean
into
culture
like
shock.
K-pop and all that, right?
I'm not, only because I like music that I can understand.
Yeah.
And I completely get the appeal to K-pop. Like when I heard New Jeans, I was obsessed. That in the middle, da. But yeah, I get the appeal. I'm not into that.
Yeah.
But it was kind of shocking to me only because when I first heard about K-pop, it was like, you know, there's Psy on the scene, and then there was also what was it? It was a girl group that was like nobody but you.
Oh yeah.
Who is that?
Yeah. I get it confused, but it's I know who you're talking about. That's
Girl
like
Generation or something like that?
I think it's Girls' Generation. Sometimes I get
Yeah,
the
so
groups confused.
right, so those were very popular like when we were younger,
Yeah,
and I was like,
that's
oh, like, you know, there's like here and there like Asian like music, but now it's like, oh, there's Korea boos now, like that's the new term, like. White people, non-Asian people are very, very into the culture, and I think it's good. It's definitely more cultural appreciation than appropriation, which I think is fine. I think some Asian people are more like sensitive about that, and they think it's like more appropriation, but I think it's fine. Although, where do you think the line should be drawn for like appropriation?
I don't know. I find it really hard to say, especially in like the Korean entertainment scene, because they do borrow and take, honestly. I don't think very many people get credited. Like huge songs that have blown up are sampled from like huge hip hop hits from like the 90s, like way back then.
Right.
And I think it's like changing it into a different way, but it's also like when you don't acknowledge, also some like outfits, some hairstyles, like all the dancing pretty much like comes from other cultures. And I don't know how much they acknowledge it. It's very interesting that the K-pop scene at the moment is getting more like diverse. Like it's not Korean anymore. I don't know if you knew that. Like
No, I didn't know that.
There was a group, a couple that debuted a couple years ago with I think there's one Indian girl and one African girl and one white girl from the US. And
I think I did hear about that.
yeah, they're called Black Swan. I actually love them. But there's also like a lot of those shows and like talent castings, like so many people love K-pop so much that now like people of all like everyone's learning Korean, everyone's going to these castings. Like,
Yeah.
You're like the diversity in K-pop is blowing up, which I think is very interesting because I think at that point you can appreciate more than like appropriate in a way when you include those people is what I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting that a lot of parts of the culture are now like more mainstream, quote unquote. But it's annoying to me because it feels like, at least in America, it's very much people are very much cherry picking what parts of like Asian culture they like appreciate because they like the food, they like the music, they like the clothes, but then they still be outwardly racist towards Asian people, and I'm like, what's up with that part?
And not even to get started on like people going to visit those countries and being like absolutely disrespectful. So
I saw a TikTok of some white guy in Japan where they have like trains and like they have cabins in the trains that are just for women. And then he was like walking through like, oh, just checking to see if there's any men here and like trying to be funny about it. And I'm like, you're being so disrespectful.
Wait, the person who was visiting Japan did that?
Yeah, he was like a white guy visiting.
And it was his point of view?
Yeah, he was making the TikTok being like, let me check if there's any men. Ho ho ho.
Why would you do that? He knew too. He knew that car.
Oh yeah.
That checks so
The sign was in English.
No, but I love how Japan does their signage and like voiceovers because I understand a good amount of Japanese and I was at Disney World there and they were saying like a bunch of announcements in Japanese, and then the one English announcement they made was like, don't forget to drink water so you don't pass out, and they didn't even say that in Japanese. They just said that just in English.
Oh, really? That's so funny.
They're like, this is for the English speaking people.
Right, right. I think one of my like fond memories is when we were watching an anime in like some random barcade. And it was in Japanese, and then we were doing the English like voiceover.
That was a core memory. That was so funny. We were just
No,
watching
completely.
it, picking up characters, doing different voices, like the anime voice, and just.
I do my
with it.
terrible Ash Ketchum voice.
No, it's so good. Can you do it for the audience?
All right, y'all are not prepared for this, but let me try. Pokemon, Pikachu, use Thunderbolt. Did you enjoy that? ...
That's so funny.
I think I could be a voice actor.
You should be a voice actor. You have a lot of different voices. You can do other accents. The
I
pirate
think
accent is
someone
great.
needs to make an anime specifically designed for me where it's like about terrible like voices,
That's so.
and then I would be like the star on there.
That would be really interesting.
Yeah.
You know what that very randomly reminds me of? Do you know that little cartoon that's like not demonstrates racism, but it is really racist? It's like all the people of the world and they like zoom in.
Yes, the pie.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I knew someone who looked like the Asian character in that drawing.
The,
Is that racist of me to say?
you know, that's so funny because you're saying like the racist. That seems racist to me. But also,
Yeah.
I feel like it's
I should get hashtag canceled.
no, but it's different, like Asian versus Asian, and like not Asian versus, not versus, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, no, that's a good conversation to be had.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I mean, I think a lot of non-Asian people like lump all Asian people into one category, and I'm not even talking about like South Asian people, like specifically East Asians. Like, oh, if you're Asian, that means you're probably just Chinese or something, you know. And I think yes, we share a lot of similarities in culture, but I think there's also many differences. And I think that's what makes like Asian culture so unique. Specifically, you told me to go watch Joyride. It was this comedy film that came out this year, and the cast was awesome. It was like Stephanie Sue, Ashley Park. I don't remember the other people's names, but it was an all Asian cast, and the plot was ridiculous. It was so funny, but I actually think there was some value to be like talked about from the movie, and specifically dealing with like race and ethnicity in Asian culture, specifically because, okay, this is going to be a little spoiler-ish, but essentially the main character, Ashley Park, she is Korean, and I don't think to anyone's surprise she looks Korean. She looks very, very Korean. But in the movie, she is adopted by white parents, and she's believed that she is Chinese. And then she visits China and tries to find her birth mother, and then she finds like someone and is like, you're actually Korean. And then she's like, what? Nani? And so, yeah, then she realizes she's Korean. They were all obviously like born in America and they hold American values, but then they also have their race and ethnicity. The main character, Ashley Park, she was kind of seen as like a white girl, even though she is Asian. And so she was like, but I am still technically Asian American because of my race, but I only have like the American side of things because I was raised by white parents. My question is there like a right way to be like Asian American?
Yeah, I think the biggest part of being any two cultures or three or four is like you're never going to be just one, and trying to be just one is going to be really hard because either people are not going to see you that way or you're not going to feel that way. So I think it's really hard to define like what the Asian American experience is, and I'm sure you have thoughts as well, but I do think a lot of it comes from not being able to be totally in with one group or another group, but that's also really
Yeah.
beautiful in itself. And I kind of want to run away from the narrative of all like the very like typical things people say about being Asian American, because it's not a complaint,
yeah.
it's just reality for a lot of us.
Yeah, I mean, Asian American is such a huge diaspora of people that it doesn't encompass like really anything unique about someone.
Yeah.
I guess the only thing that it really encompasses is the words itself, is that you are literally Asian and that you're literally like American. Like it doesn't really say anything else.
You can't run away from race. Like someone can see that from you without presenting yourself and being judged. Like you cannot physically run away from that, no matter how hard you try. Although I guess it could be argued you could try to run away from that depending on how different you look. But anyways, without getting into that, I do think that is a big part of being Asian American.
Yeah, there's really I don't really think there is a right or wrong way, and I think some people have more than I don't want to say more than other races, but I think just in my personal experience, I think there is like an expectation of what Asian people should be like.
Yeah.
Just like placed from other people, where it's like, oh, we all have to be smart and be good at math and like get into good schools and care a lot about money and be good at this thing and not good at this thing. So I think there's expectations put on there, but then you really delve into it and how different people are, where it's like there's West Coast versus East Coast culture, where we just mentioned there's first generation versus like second or third. I'm first generation, and your parents were first generation. What?
No, I'm third generation. They were born here. Or Koreans count it differently to my understanding, so it might be second generation to you.
Okay.
I don't know why Korean people like add a number. I think it has something to do with like counting. But anyways, I don't know.
In my head, immigrant
Is like level 0, and then the child of an immigrant is level 1. So it's
No.
like
Korea starts
first
the
gen?
other way. It's like 1. Like you're here 1.
Interesting.
But anyways, I completely agree with like your like the expectation of being Asian American, and I actually think I was thinking about this the other day too, because of how like raunchy Joyride is. Like there's also that other side of the expectation of like, if you are not smart, if you are not the like the model minority formula, then you have to be this crazy person who's all about like liberation and sexuality and all this, and like that
exactly
is like the complete other side of the scale. And I'm looking forward to seeing some in-betweens. I feel like Ashley's character was a decent in-between that. Like she would get angry, but she was also like herself. But I think with Aquafina being, and we've talked about this before, I feel like, but like her characters are just so
she is an interesting player in the Asian American Hollywood scene, because on one hand I really give her props because she has made it so far as like an Asian woman comedian in Hollywood. But at the same time, I think her personality is like a little annoying. Although I loved her in the Farewell.
When Asian women have to fight to make their way up in an industry, I feel like the advice I've gotten from a lot of my parents' women friends who are like very like corporate, very successful, is like you have to stand your ground. You have to be so mean. You have to be like so like crazy, like all of this stuff. And I think that fits like sort of that other character, and I feel like when I act that way, I don't feel like myself.
I think a lot of like minority issues and like problems that I've been seeing a lot is it's overcompensating for something.
Absolutely.
It's either overcompensating for being a woman, overcompensating for being a man, or not a man, the fuck. Overcompensating for being like Asian, being religious, whatever. It's always like try to overcompensate for the standard, the majority.
Maybe
and
that
I think
applies
that's
to men too.
Yeah, honestly. Okay, so Awkwafina, I want to go back to her because she was getting canceled a few years back for doing a quote-unquote black scent, right? So I understand like why people are like kind of confused by that because the way she talks sounds like usually how a black person talks. But I think she was just like born like wherever she was surrounded by people that talk like that.
She's
So
like
she kind of
from Queens. Like people in Queens talk like that.
that goes back to the point where I was saying that there's an expectation of what
Yeah.
it is to be Asian American. So like there's an expectation of how Asian people should sound, and if you're using like a black accent, you're somehow appropriating like black people, but then also are you saying that that's how black people talk?
Right. It's so convoluted and really hard to like pin down. It's also like there's so many, I find this really ironic that like some Asian people will like fake their Asian accents to make other people more comfortable and stuff like that. I'm not saying this as like but
Really?
you know what's Fried Rice MSG man's name? Uncle Roger. Do you know
Uncle Roger.
He doesn't sound like that normally. He's putting
Wait,
on-
really?
No. That's not his normal voice. Like that's a character.
No way.
Yeah. I hope I'm
Does
not
he
wrong.
does he not have an Asian accent?
Not really. I think my point was just like whatever character you're playing, like for entertainment purposes at least, like might just be a character.
Right. And we were talking about in the very beginning where how certain people like put on for the camera, especially like non-Gen Z, or that's like kind of the standard for like being on camera and stuff. So I think a lot of people still do that. And unfortunately, because of the expectations placed on Asian people from like such a young age, like at least for me, it's like a little internalized. And it's like, oh, if I am to play like a character, like it has to be like Asian-ish, you know? Like I can't play like, I would never see myself as like a Western cowboy.
But that's why Simu Liu is in Barbie, because you can be Ken too. Do you feel like you have a lot of first gen or second gen friends?
I think most of the people where I live are first gen, so we have that connection. What's your experience with like that in California?
Yeah, I feel like still there are a lot of like first like generation kids, like their parents like barely speak English. They're like trying to like navigate this world and like help them on the day to day because they need to translate everything. I think a lot of my specifically Chinese friends tend to be like they've been here for a long time. Like they moved to the Midwest, moved to California later. Like they've been here for a second. For Korean immigration specifically, I think it's the 60s when Koreans came, so that's like the oldest. So there's different waves, but a lot of my Korean friends are also first generation. So I think first generation across the board is pretty much my experience.
Interesting. Okay, so I would have thought there's more like second, third.
There are, but I think they're still a little bit younger, like just a little bit. But what was really cool is I found an article because I was trying to explore like what it means for me to be like third generation Korean American. And there was an article by this guy from like 2012, like probably the age we are now. And he was talking about like all of his third generation experiences, like how he couldn't like, he doesn't know the language anymore. Like I also don't know the language, like all of these things. And I was like, oh my gosh, I relate to that so much. I can't believe there's like people third generation Korean that are older than me because I just never met them.
Right.
Yeah. So that was a shock to me.
Yeah, I would love to hear from like someone who is well versed in like Asian American history.
Yeah.
Because I think that's a big part of American history that is really glazed over. We don't really talk about it at all. But Asians were such a fundamental part of like the foundation, especially on the West Coast,
Especially, all the railroads in Montana.
Exactly.
And all that. Okay,
Right.
I'll bring on a friend. I have a lot of my friends who are Asian from California who stayed in California, like half of them studied American or Asian American studies. So we get.
Is this a foreshadow for our own podcast?
Yeah.
Ooh, stay tuned.
Dude.
Enough about our beautiful Asian Americanness.
Yes.
Let's get into some silly current events that have been happening. So, did you see that New York Fashion Week was happening, and then this imposter
Yes.
walks the runway,
Yes.
and he's wearing a shower cap, like swimming trunks and then this
Like
like
a plastic
poncho,
bag.
like trash bag thing.
Yeah.
Exactly. And he was like walking and no one knew for like a solid like 30 seconds until the security like actually like got him off. But the funny thing is he was low-key wearing shit that would like pass on a runway, you know?
I know, he popped off with that, the outfit, the color coordination. I think it was like kind of like salmonish pink and like maybe a little
Totally. And his like tattoo was like leaking through the like
Yes.
the sheer material.
Yes.
I was like, it's kind of fire. Fire.
It was pretty fire. I thought that video was fake because I was like, how could that happen? I feel like it says a lot about gatekeeping fashion and high fashion.
Yeah.
Like, I
Yeah.
think anything could be high fashion, and then like being attached to like these brands and everything just makes it so like it's just discarded.
Completely. I wanted to ask you about that. Like, what are your thoughts on like high fashion? Because it's almost like the like modern art equivalent
Yes.
of like fashion because people just be wearing like anything
Yeah.
and they call it fashion.
I think like high fashion in general is just like art. Like art is also gate kept. Like,
Exactly.
art
Yeah.
is so expensive.
It's a
too.
very pretentious field.
It is a very pretentious field, and it's also super brutal. But wait, what was your
Yeah.
question?
So, thoughts on differences between like high fashion and everyday fashion?
I've been getting really into like learning about clothes and how clothes are made and like what makes like a quality item. I do think there is a significant like I don't know if you've ever been like sometimes I'll pretend to be like really rich and I'll go into like Gucci Balenciaga and I'll go try on clothes. Those clothes.
You've done that before?
Yeah, I do that all the time. I love doing.
Oh my goodness. I've always wanted to, but I'm like too scared to just get like clocked as being a poor.
No, you should. You should do. Also, they think all Asian people have money. So, anyways, that's another
See?
Asian.
The expectations.
The expectations. But anyways, I was like, oh, this has to be fake. Like, there's no way this is comfortable. You can tell when you put on a garment if it's high fashion or not. The fit and the way it feels is completely different than like all of my clothes. I don't have anything
Right.
high fashion. But
Well, I don't think high fashion is very wearable.
yeah,
is a
that's
thing.
true. Also, between like, yeah, exactly. You can't wear like especially like I mean, you could wear the trash bag. You could wear that trash bag
Right,
outfit. It
I
looks
guess.
really cute. But I think like our generation is really exciting, especially like fashion TikTokers, like coming up with all these like cool outfits and like making.
Oh my god. Okay, I need to just pause you right there. Because okay, it's probably different for women's side because there's just so much more variety that women can have on that. But
Sure.
on TikTok, the fucking men fashion influencers, they be putting on like a hoodie and shorts and then they'd be like outfit of the day, like slay outfit, like this fashion. I'm like, you're wearing a t-shirt and pants.
Yeah.
Like that is not fashion.
Not at all. Okay, that is
Not that I'm like very qualified, but like
no, but it's also like it's not interesting. But I do think like the optionality is a lot to do with it. Like a lot of the stigma behind like, I mean, I love men wearing skirts and dresses. Like, but most men won't do that. Would not. And I
Right.
get why. I completely get why. But
Right.
You're so right about that. But on like the girly side of TikTok,
yeah,
we've got like really creative people making really cool pieces. I think.
I bet.
Yeah, which is super cool to see, but it's also a little scary because I wonder how, like, you know, the bad things about fast fashion, like how it's like produced really quickly, how it's like they don't pay their workers, like all of this. I wonder if that even applies to like high-end fashion. I'm sure it does, right? I don't
Well,
know.
I think the difference is that fast fashion is so like highly produced, like so much. I think high fashion maybe is a little bit better towards that end because
Yeah, 'cause no one can
designers are
afford
like first of all, no one can afford it and they want to make like exclusive pieces so they don't make like a lot.
Yeah.
And then also I feel like designers are like pressured in the public eye to like have more environmentally friendly like material.
Right.
So on that end it's probably a little better for, you know, like the environment, but obviously no one's going to be wearing high fashion every day unless we become like the capital in the Hunger Games.
That's true. I know.
Do you see that for us?
The only reason I see that is because of climate change. Like if climate change like messes up, like I mean climate change will mess up most of the world.
Fully.
Which is completely fine because Mother Nature be doing her thing, which is fantastic.
Mother Nature is mothering.
She is mothering. She's getting all her anger. Never did I think you would say that.
I'm trying to keep up to date with what the kids are saying.
You're right.
So.
You're right. Anyways, when climate change pushes out all, I'm not even gonna finish. We could just talk about something else.
Moving on. Okay, have you heard of what the fried rice syndrome is?
No.
So this is some old news, but it resurfaced on Reddit and TikTok recently.
Okay.
But apparently some 20-year-old was eating pasta that was sitting out on the counter at room temperature for 5 days. 5 days. And he ate it, and then he died like 10 hours later.
He ate.
Because he contracted some kind of bacteria that's often found in, they call it fried rice syndrome because it's found in like starches, like rice, that they grow and are resistant to heat. And he ate it, and usually it is good, like you can treat it pretty well, but this one like infected his liver, and he died from that.
Ooh. I feel like I watched Poisoned on Netflix, which is like this documentary about like people who have died from bacteria from food. And the biggest point that I learned from that documentary was like our food in the US is not safe and we don't even teach people how to eat well. And like I think this just goes back to all of that, because why would you I wonder if he knew.
So he tasted it and he was like, oh, this tastes kind of weird, but I wonder if it's because of the new pasta sauce or tomato sauce that I was using. I'm like, girl, there's a difference between rotted food and a different tomato sauce.
Yeah, I do that. Sometimes I eat old food from the refrigerator just to taste it, and I'm like, my dad would always say, when in doubt, throw it out. And I'm like, if this doesn't taste 100% normal, I'm like, it's gone.
I clown this guy for doing that, but honestly, I could have totally been him because I'm so guilty of eating shit like that.
Really?
Like sometimes I like leftovers because they taste better.
When all the flavors sink in the fridge.
Mm-hmm. Like cold pizza. Oh my goodness. Like I will eat the hell out of a cold pizza.
That is unbelievable. What else do you like to eat as leftovers?
So mac and cheese is also really good. I guess anything that's like kind of cheesy.
Mac and cheese? Why do you like cold cheese? The whole point of cheese is for it to be like melted.
I know, but I don't know. It hits different when it's cold.
That's kind of
telling you. Like, especially if it's like 1 a.m. on like a Saturday night and you're hungry, there's nothing else to eat. And then the only thing is like a cold pizza in the fridge. Ooh, that shit tastes so good.
No.
Okay.
I'm working on disagreeing, and I completely disagree.
I'm proud of you for that. Stand up for yourself.
So yeah, invalidated your feelings completely, but I respect you eating
As you
that.
should.
I hope you don't get sick from eating leftovers, is all I ask. Please.
I'll keep you updated if I ever eat leftover pasta that has been sitting there for 5 days.
Thank you. Yes, you have to for me. Like, don't hit me with the emotional trauma of you passing away from eating pasta. It's not worth it. No pasta's worth it.
That would be such a flop. Like, I wouldn't even want people to know that I died from that.
Yeah, that's embarrassing.
That is embarrassing. Well, on that note, thank you for listening to another episode of Jelly. Thank you so much, Mattie, for replacing Elias, hopefully permanently.
No. Yeah, thank you for having me. It was such a good time to catch up. Yeah, you guys should totally like and subscribe and comment and share.
Exactly. And you also forgot to leave a review.
Leave a review? Oh yeah.
Yeah, you can leave reviews on podcasts.
Oh.
Yeah, that's the whole point. Anyways,
leave a stellar review.
Exactly. It better be 6 out of 5 stars.
6 out of 5 stars, 80 paragraphs long. You gotta confess your love for this podcast. It's gonna blow up someday. You guys are here from the start. Like,
Exactly.
show up.
All right, well, thank you for watching, everyone.
Yeah, thank you guys. Thank you, Jimmy.
Bye.